Hey YouTube, Mochismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. Hope everybody's doing good today. I just had to hop back on here as I talked about a little bit, not in depth, the other day about my employer. It was very likely that I was going to get terminated, and I went in yesterday, I believe it was, and they did in fact terminate me because of alleged sexual harassment. Now, I want to talk to you guys not so much about what I got terminated for, but I want to talk to you about the narcissist, obviously, and I want to talk to you about in context of how when you're awake or when you awaken to not only the person that abused you, but you awaken to a whole new environment around you. The environment around you totally takes on a new meaning. You begin to see things differently, you begin to behave differently, you begin to walk, act, and exist differently. The aura on you changes because you're more self-aware of who you are, because you're doing a rebuilding process. You begin to realize the matrix that you were in as a human being, going along to get along in society. You were doing basically things that most of us in the world do. Wake up, go to work, come home, hang out with family, go to the bar, do this, that, and the other, which seemingly are normal activities. You work hard, you enjoy the fruits of your labor, and you just live a happy, wholesome life until the curtain calls. But when you begin to understand that you are in a matrix of a lifestyle, you are doing what most often people do with the express intention of doing it authentically, and you discover that that same person who you believe was doing it authentically and going along with you to get along with you was a narcissist. So, to wrap this up in that context, I'm saying this: you begin to understand most of what you were doing was authentic, and most of what that other person, if not all, what other persons was doing was fake. It was phony. It was fictitious. It was a facade. It was an illusion. So now you're saying to yourself, man, if everything I was doing was authentic and everything that person was doing was fake, and it was very identical to what I was doing, now I have to rethink everything I do going forward as an authentic person. Now let me tell you something. That right there, rethinking your authenticity, don't dare do it. The only part of your authenticity that you have to do a little bit of renovation on is being aware of the people and the environment you share your authenticity with. And when you do this, just basically being casually observant when you're sharing, whether it's a story, where you're going tomorrow, what kind of vacation you're going. It could be something as small as, when I leave work, I'm going to do XYZ. You begin to manage, and you're very mindful who you share this kind of stuff with. And when people walk around you, say you're at the break room and you're about to leave and clock out, and you're talking to one person. When people walk around you, you begin to turn the volume down on what you're talking about, because it's kind of like you don't want anyone other than the person you're talking to have any information about what you're doing. That's how vigilant you become. Now, in doing all of this, you begin to become an ostracized type of person, because the narcissist who is trying to get around you to find out what you're doing, how you move, how you tick, what your likes and what you dislike, you sense the energy around you. You begin to hold back and withdraw. This agitates the narcissist. You heard what I just said? This agitates the narcissist. They don't even have to know you personally. They don't even have to have any kind of relationship with you. And I'm speaking specifically in the workplace and even the church. I had a woman tell me the other day, and I was sharing, just sidebar that, she was asking me, say, hey, how are you doing? I said, yeah, I'm doing good. I say, today I got to go, which was yesterday. It's around 2 o'clock. I said, 3:30, I got to go and get terminated. And so she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of basically just say, alleged sexual harassment. She said, she began to share with me, she's a massage therapist. And she said, I thought she was a nurse because as she gets out of her car, I'm doing some work across the street. So I seen her get out of her car. Seems like scrubs and stuff she wears. And she was like, I was like, you're a nurse. And I said, most often I meet women and they're like, oh, I'm in nursing school. And I cringe because we all know too well about that, the medical field. And I've talked about this in videos. But anyway, onto the lady. She began to say, no, I'm a massage therapist. And I've been doing this for about 20 years. And she said, because I was sharing that about how I was allegedly being accused of this, and just atrocious the statement that they said that I said. Won't even bore you with that. And so she said, yeah, I'm at my job right now. I've been there 20 years. And she said, I got taken to HR, or this lady went to HR on me that works there, and she's always trying to talk to me. And I really never really talked to her. And she went to HR and told them that I'm not talking to her. And I looked at her, I was like, wow, that's kind of, that's small. And she said, I don't have to talk to her. So I thought that was kind of funny that she stood in her truth. She stood her boundary. She had a boundary there. She said, the lady's aura rubs me the wrong way, so for that reason I just stay in my lane. And she said, that's my right. And I said, you're definitely right. That is your right. And she held to that. And she said because of that, she got taken to HR. Behind her back, they went to HR on her. They didn't take her to HR. You get my point. So this is the kind of stuff that you go through. Who goes to HR and tells HR, this person won't talk to me? What kind of person does that? A person looking for validation. When I went to this job, I expected to be there probably 5 years, and I didn't know how I was going to do 5 years. I just threw a number out of my head because guys was asking me that. I went to get this job as a result of I own a business on the side, and it was struggling, and so because I couldn't find help, good help, solid help, consistent help, and I'm sure anyone who owns a small business has experienced that, especially after the pandemic fizzled out and people went back and the country opened back up. You found that there was a drought of good, good wholesome workers. And the society is still suffering from that. So anyway, I went and applied for this job, and I got it. And it was a union job. I've never had a union job. And that's not saying a lot, because if you're in a union, it varies from union to union. I mean, what a union's supposed to stand for. I don't believe that that most of what this one is just a symbol. But in the good sense, it is some positives in a union, because to tell you the positives in a union. You can't readily get fired or terminated just because, for any old thing. So which brings me back to what I allegedly got, or I got terminated for allegedly doing sexual harassment. This is the only way that they could get rid of me instantaneously. And who are they? Who cares? We know who they are. But the question in the back of my mind, which is not that serious, I'm not spending a whole bunch of time trying to pick my brain for that. But this was diabolical. It was done premeditatively, and only God knows how long these people, or the people in question, were plotting and smearing in an attempt to build this kind of assault on me, because they wanted me out of this company for the sheer fact that the aura, the energy, when I go in, I came back off of knee surgery and I was doing janitorial maintenance or custodial, and I got comfortable with that. I was making a $10 pay cut, but it really wasn't about the money per se, because even at janitor, the job paid very well, paid pretty much. Um, yeah, pretty much. Before I went to janitor, I was making about 60K a year. So at janitor, probably 50, 52 a year. And I was only there 11 months. This month, on the third week of August, would have been a year. So I just want to share that with you guys, that, yesterday I did get terminated. I've got mixed emotions. Obviously, these people, plotted and got me out of an employment of 50 plus $1,000 a year. That's not something that's just not something you just sneeze off. So there's a transitional thing that's going to happen with me, obviously, because of how you build your finances around doing things. I'm pretty frugal. I know I'll be okay, but it's just a thinking process. I got to think about how to maneuver and do some kind of transitioning. My committee man actually gave me his card, and he's going to send my resume. He offered to send my resume and get me hired, Godspeed, as soon as I want to go back to work. And I told him I'm probably going to take a few weeks off, just to clear my head and spend some time with the kids and just get closer to doing the things that I need to do to keep growing and building myself as a person. You have to be mindful of the spirit. You have to be mindful of how this is going to play out once you're awakened. This is just goes with the territory. You're going to have to accept this. You're going to have to be okay with it, even though it's not something that most people are okay with. We really shouldn't have to be okay with it. But, what's the alternatives there? These people are getting progressively, diabolically worse. They're getting so much worse. You can look at TikTok. You can look at a lot of stuff that a lot of us even use, social media platform. The obnoxiousness, the overt attention-seeking, attention-grubbing. Some of the comedy, I get some of the spoofs, I get some of it, but some of it has no narrative. It has no. The skits are just, just stuff people are doing that in your heart of hearts is just atrocious. And they're hurting other people. They're getting likes at someone else's expense. And a lot of people are normalizing it, and they're laughing about it. But I got to talk to them, or the HR lady, on the way out, and I recorded everything. I did. Recorded every single thing I said to her, and she tried to say to me, just like song and dance, and I was like, you know what? I said, I've been at this a long time, and I recognize what really is going on. I said, it's not about what's been alleged against me. I said, you try to make a name for yourself. I said, you're just gonna. I say about 7 or 8 people have been terminated within the last couple months at the hands of you. I said, you talk about thorough investigation, you don't even know what you're doing. I said, just by what you're talking to me about, what was alleged, and then you keep on piling more allegations on top of allegations. I said, this sounds like a Bill Cosby do-over. Not really wanting to use that as an example, but the thing was, I needed her to know, in the context of you're trying to allege something happened based on a statement you said was given to you, and now it went from 1 woman to 5 women, and we had about 5 women in the whole that worked in the whole plant is probably only 5 women. And it's ironic, one of the committee man's wife works there. He doesn't have that story. His wife doesn't have that story. There's a couple other guys that got wives there. They don't have that story. Then she goes on to say, no, one of the ones you just named, she was kind of trying to leverage what I was saying and saying they were one of the ones that, and I was like, yeah, okay. Just as uninterested as you wanted, I was just uninterested as anybody could be, because I know it was bigger than what they alleged. This was a plot designed just to get me out of the environment. These people hate you when you show up. And there was a vast amount of people. The amount of people I had a rapport with drastically outweighed, the narcissists. It was probably, I would have to say it's 40% narcissists there. But I even had a rapport with some of them. I fed them out of long handled spoons. As we say back home in Alabama, that's how you deal with toxic, dangerous people. Keep them at a distance. You just say less, hi, bye, stay cordial, keep it moving. Don't give them details about your life. And this is what annoyed a big part of the narcissists, I believe, that went and plotted against me. Because if you don't speak negatively about life, you come in with a good, pretty decent attitude every day, you're consistently jubilant, and you're within your own right to be, you have a zen. You have just a zen, because I go to work and my whole approach to work is, whether I want to be there or not, I keep it real and understand this is a mean to provide for my family. That's all a job is really supposed to be. When you get people talk about, oh, my job, these people, blah, blah. Don't talk about and complain about how bad your job is. Quit. Because what we're doing is we're getting in step with what the narcissist does. That's all they do is complain. And most of the complaining about is not genuine complaining. They're complaining because they're garnering fuel supply. They're garnering attention, adoration, adulation, sympathy, empathy. They leave no stones unturned. And I told you that. They are insatiable. They're obsessed with being the center. And they're going nowhere fast. And I told her, I say, you are going to leave within 6 months, and you start fires and watch them burn. And I actually told her, I say, you know what? A narcissist starts fires just to see them burn. Oh, I said it. I said it not because I was sour. I said it because looking at her in real time, knowing she was a narcissist, it was just hard to stomach. I don't play the game. I couldn't play the game. There's 5 men in there, myself and 4 other guys on the committee, and this one woman. And she was just getting, she was getting a rise out of, and they calm, cool, and collective. Then she stared off at me, and when she saw me looking at her like this, just nonchalant, with just a constant stare, because they can't outstare you. She didn't see no emotion from me. It's almost like she had seen a ghost. And I said, because you reflect their vileness back to them. Their vile core existence is reflected back to them when you give them no emotion and a minimal reaction. She was trying to talk, oh, we need the ID, we need the whatever to clock back in. I said, I don't have it. She's like, you don't have it? What you do with it? I said, I don't have it. What do you want me to tell you? I said, anything else I need? Anything else I can help you with? Kept on just deflecting everything that she wanted to say to get a rise out of me. I was like, what else you need? Anything else you want? And I said, you really don't care about this company. So you fired mechanics, you fired some people that really were great workers. I'll be okay. I said, but you just don't have any sense of what's going on. And I just wanted to tell you that. I said, you'll be gone in 6 months or less, guaranteed. It's not going to get any better, guys. This world is going nowhere fast. So how do you live your life in the midst of all of this stuff? I'm probably going to relocate at some point, not because of this. I just was talking to somebody the other day. I said, maybe I need to move somewhere else. I really don't even know where else I want to move. And I hate to just, like, that cliche, I just need a change of environment. But the more I think about it, I have custody of my twins. I'm pretty okay with, just, I don't need to be in the city. I really want to be in the country. There's so much I want to do with the children. I want to get some side by sides, which are the little cars, dune buggy type off-road vehicles, UTVs. I say UTI, UTVs, all-terrain vehicles is what I mean. I think ATVs, UTV, utility terrain vehicles. So I want to do that. I want to plant a garden. I want to be able to grow my own vegetables. I want to start eating healthy. I want to go back to vegan progressively, gradually. I want to do a lot of things, and I've been procrastinating. The more I say I need to do them, the longer it becomes. And I'm 53 this year in September. So it's time I really start reassessing. I think, as my buddy just told me on a video the other day, and it was a video for everyone, it really spoke to me about there's a shift, and this didn't happen by accident. This really didn't happen because they wanted it to happen in and of itself. God allows certain things to happen in my life. I'll speak for myself, because if you're not religious or into any kind of spiritual beliefs, I'll say it for me. God allows certain things to happen in my life for my good. And this is just one more thing, and I just need to wait and just pay attention to what it is, and the transition is going to be interesting. I'm at 23 minutes, guys. I just want you to know, the title was this video, I got fired, and I'm not mad. Bless.